Mr. Prime Minister, friends, welcome to the Global Center on Adaptation. Honorable Prime Minister Trudeau, I think it's fair to say we're all living inside the eye of the storm where no one is safe. We saw that last summer here in the Netherlands. I know you've also experienced quite profoundly in Canada over the summer. But we also believe that the climate emergency has the world at a crossroads. I think we have a choice to make. Business as usual is a surefire route to chaos. But by changing and adapting, we can thrive. That is why we're here today to discuss. My name is Patrick Verkooijen. I'm the CEO of the Global Center on Adaptation. We're the only international organization exclusively focused on adaptation. And with your strong support, Honorable Prime Minister, we were established 3 years ago as the solutions broker for adaptation globally. So thank you, Prime Minister, for being a founding partner of the GCA together with the Netherlands government. Your commitment for climate adaptation is unparalleled. This is critical because the climate fight is now on two fronts. One, yes, we have to reduce our carbon footprint, but at the same time, we have to build resilience across the globe to the existing climate shocks, but also the climate shocks of tomorrow, which will happen even if we agree and will lean to the Paris Agreement. So government leaders, you, sir, you will meet in Rome, in Glasgow in the coming days. But I know you agree, we also need the power of the private sector, and particularly the dynamism of young people. So I was myself in Kenya earlier this week, launching our State and Trends report on adaptation in Africa, and together with President Kenyatta. And the central message of that particular report, which we launched, is very simple. It makes economic sense to invest in adaptation and resilience, because for every dollar or euro or Canadian dollar invested, there is a higher return in higher yields in terms of dividends. So it makes sense, it's simply smart economics. But I also met with in an informal settlement in Mukuru with folks who live there, students, young entrepreneurs, and they shared with me how they are innovating, how they're taking action, what solutions are. These solutions need scale and they need speed. So those in the eye of the storm, and that's my central message to you, Honorable Prime Minister, if I may, they need urgent support, including and perhaps even particularly in Africa. That is why we as a Global Center on Adaptation, we're very honored to work with African Union leaders, including President Tshisekedi, to have launched the largest ever program for Africa, Africa Adaptation Acceleration Program, AAAP, and we really look forward to also work with your government and you yourself, sir, on this particular program. Recognizing your global leadership and leadership at home, recognizing you are the driving force on climate action, we strongly acknowledge and appreciate your doubling of climate finance recently. That was a huge step forward. And what we hope also is that your government will join others in finding parity between climate mitigation finance and climate adaptation finance, particularly for those who need it most, such as in Africa. You recognize, Honorable Prime Minister, that building resilience and adaptation is an all-of-society effort. You have spoken to that very loudly in the last few years already. So that's how I was delighted 3 years ago when I joined Prime Minister Rutte to his visit to visit with you, that we together, the GCA and your government, we launched our youth leadership program on adaptation. And some of these, let's say, examples are being brought to the table today. Today we will hear from youth leaders, and we will hear from business leaders, and we'll hear from other climate innovators, we'll hear from the government. So what we hope is that you will take their central message, their bold ideas, their energy towards Glasgow and towards Rome when you leave this evening. As a global leader, you have consistently raised ambition on climate change. And what we hope to get out of this meeting, that you also will manage to elevate ambition of your fellow leaders when you gather in the coming days on climate action. You know why? It makes economic sense, it's the right thing to do, and it's the smartest thing to do. Honorable Prime Minister, we are delighted to have you here. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. It really is an exciting opportunity for me to be able to hear from all of you. So I will try to keep my remarks short, although I have to say everything you said, Patrick, was extremely exciting and has got us all thinking about what challenges we're going to tackle next. I want to first congratulate you for the extraordinary work here at the Global Center for Adaptation. It is an extremely important idea that we have to continue to push and challenge people to wrap their minds around, but also, as in so many things, to see the opportunity. We are absolutely in a moment of tremendous crisis. We know what the science tells us. We know how quickly, how much more we need to do. And we saw in Paris, the world came together 6 years ago with a genuine desire and commitment to say the time is now, we need to stop climate change. And yet, let's be honest, over the past 6 years, even though many things have been done, not enough has been done. And one of the biggest challenges is that people, even though they say, yes, we need to do this, it's the right thing to do, they haven't yet deeply figured out that it's also the smart thing to do, that it's also the path towards opportunity, profitability, good jobs, better futures, tangibly, concretely, not just good jobs, but good careers as well. And to make that shift requires a shift in mindset from just saying, oh no, we have to prevent this disaster from happening years from now, to, oh boy, we have an opportunity to create real success right now. And it doesn't mean sugarcoating it. We are going to face some extremely difficult times in the coming years. And that's where protecting nature now, understanding the need for mitigation and adaptation is extraordinarily important, and why even as we talk about investments in new technologies and innovative new solutions, we also need to talk about protecting nature. I was touched or surprised actually a couple of years ago as Canada was signing on to a UN biodiversity and protecting nature initiative. I just said curiously, okay, of all the different countries signing on to this, and there was a great list of countries, which other of the big ones are? It goes, oh no, we've got lots of very populous and big economies. No. The big ones. The 10 biggest countries by geography in the world, of which Canada is number 2. We were the only ones to sign on. So there's lots of small countries talking about the need to protect biodiversity and protect nature, but Canada has the longest coastline in the world, and second in landmass only to Russia and Russia with Siberia. And we are there for nature solutions. But we know that climate change isn't just about nature, even though the nature-based solutions are going to be a huge part of the protections we have going forward. We also need to bring people along with it. And that's why Canada has actually moved forward on one of the strongest, most broad-based prices on pollution in the world. And that's part of the big message I'm going to be pushing on around the world to my fellow democracies. Not only can you bring in a really ambitious price on pollution, but you can win elections, 2 of them, based on that. So it's not true that it's a political loser anymore. We need to focus on the fact that bringing people along in ways that make sense to both encourage businesses to shift and make those capital investments for 10 years, for 25 years out, and also citizens to understand that their choices are all part of it. And that doesn't just happen with the doom and gloom, the planet is burning, everyone needs to change their behaviors. Part of it needs to be that. But part of it also needs to be, there are tremendous opportunities. This is where the jobs are coming from. This is where the world is moving. This is what consumers want. The fact that Canada produces some of the cleanest aluminum in the world. We're upgrading our steel plants to make sure there's some of the cleanest steel in the world, to make sure that the natural resources that Canada builds on continues to be successful in playing in the world. Évidemment, on est aussi un pays producteur d'énergie. On dépend énormément encore comme planète sur le pétrole, sur le gaz naturel, mais nous devons d'assurer que ce soit le plus propre possible et que nous aidons les travailleurs dans ces industries à changer leur façon de faire pour être pas seulement durable en termes d'écologie, ensuite aussi en termes d'économie pour leur communauté pour les années à venir. Il y a beaucoup de travail à faire, but we're going to do it. We're going to do that work together, and we're going to do that work together with all of you around the world as we continue to push for more and better solutions. I'm very excited about the opportunity to hear from all of you. Mostly, I'm very excited about the opportunity to work alongside you as a partner as we transform this world for the better. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.